welcome. I am back here. I am live in the studio right now. You see, I'm live in the studio. You see behind me. I mean, it's kind of not breaking news because we've seen this on the docket. Last night on the Dateline episode that came out about the Idaho 4, there was a lot of different claims, a lot of different professionals on there. They were covering, everything from the knife sheath to him setting up cameras. Bryan Kohberger allegedly setting up cameras at this girl's apartment. Oh yeah. This is a very, very, very spicy episode, and I see a lot of outrage on it on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook. A lot of talk about this Papa Rogers that allegedly people have debunked. Papa Rogers was a part of the episode. The knife sheath and him going back there at 9:12 a.m. was part of the episode after allegedly committing the murders. There is a lot of different things in this episode that stood out to me. Now, I do want to say again, welcome to the newsroom. Are you here with T-REV? We are live. This is the Rev Gang Family Newsroom where we talk about true crime. All topics, true crime, sometimes other stuff. But the topic today is Bryan Christopher Kohberger. And I want to jump into that episode. First of all, so we're going straight off the top of the mind of everything that I remember right now. And I'm partially talking about this episode because I thought it was interesting about him setting up the cameras in this girl's apartment. She didn't call the police. She called Bryan Kohberger to set up cameras in her apartment. It was speculated theory-wise that he had her Wi-Fi password and maybe watched her on those videos, which would make him out to be a creep, correct? Also, they talked about the woman that called the police. There was a woman that called the police that lived right there. It was a sorority right there by the King Road home. We seen it on Hunter's channel where she had dropped the body cam footage from that, and that her panties were in her front seat in a cup, and there was just a lot of weird stuff with that. And if you've seen the episode, you know what I'm talking about. We watched this episode together and we talked about it last night in Discord, and it's been the talk of the day. I mean, we've watched the episode quite a few times. I have myself. There's a lot of topics to cover within this episode that they spoke on. Jennifer Coffindoffer was on there. A lot of people are coming at Jennifer Coffindoffer's neck. I mean, they're on her head. Jennifer Coffindoffer. Let's talk about Jennifer Coffindoffer. Does she have inside information, being she was FBI? That's something that I wonder. Does she have information, being she was FBI? I'm very curious about that. As somebody who covers this case, I want to know if Jennifer Coffindoffer knows any information or maybe has gotten any information. Let's just get this across. I don't know this to be a fact. I'm speculating right now. She was in the FBI. If you pull up Jennifer Coffindoffer's resume, she was in the FBI for 25 plus. All over. She says it herself. All over the United States. They said their source multiple times. Our source said, our source. Who is Dateline source? What source? I'm very, very curious about this. I want to know who their source is. Jennifer Coffindoffer allegedly, I don't know this to be true. I'm speculating right now, but is Jennifer Coffindoffer getting this information? Because the FBI did sign off on these search warrants. Let's get one thing straight. They signed off on these search warrants, and this is something that runs through my mind. Bryan Kohberger deserves a fair trial. At the same time, we need to understand that without a gag order, there would be a lot more information out there. So is she just getting information and putting it out there herself, or is somebody else the cause of that information? It mind boggles me. I know I'm all over the place here, but it's just something that bothers me as I sit here in this chair, because I heard a lot of different things in this episode from Dateline last night, and I just really don't think Dateline would damage their reputation based off of hearsay or something that they thought, but they put certain things there. There was a lot of people and professionals that talked on this show that said this is a theory. A lot of people need to understand that things that the professionals on that show we're talking about were theory based also. I think we need to take that into consideration. If we need to do a live on this episode, let me know. We'll set the live up and we'll go live and talk about it. We'll take up phone calls, 5-minute phone calls. I want to hear what people's speculation is on where this inside information is coming from. Do you agree with me by thinking it's Jennifer Coffindoffer allegedly, or do you believe that it's an inside source that is telling these reporters and people this information? I remember this a while back. The docket on Twitter dropped specifically that Bryan Kohberger had bought a K-bar knife, allegedly. Now, I think he deleted it. I forget the post verbatim, but I did pull it up on one of my lives. I'm going to have to go back and find it. But I do remember remember that coming out way before they even talked about it on this Dateline episode. And that was a big thing. So the sheath that I posted about last night, the knife in the sheath bought from Amazon, I seen that back in January when the docket had made a post on Twitter. There's a lot of things with this episode I still want to talk about. I'm dissecting it. I will be making videos on it. But like I said, this video particular, what I found very interesting that they talked about was that the fact that Bryan Kohberger set up surveillance in someone's house, had her Wi-Fi password. Was he peeping on her or anything like that, like they talked about in this episode? Man, it's a lot to swallow in that, the Dateline episode. If you haven't seen it, you need to go watch it. Check it out. Let me know what you think down in the comments for the people that have watched it. And if you haven't watched it, don't worry. I'm taking plenty of notes. I am re-watching it over and over and dissecting every hour and 23 minutes of that video. A lot of stuff that's in there alleged against Bryan Kohberger. I mean, you got people that he dated, or a person that he dated in the past. You have schoolmates talking in there. One named Colton. I forget the girl's name. Let me know what you think down in the comments. If I don't go live tonight, I will be live tomorrow. Make sure you tune in. You don't want to miss it. If you're new here, make sure you hit the subscribe button. Make sure you turn on your notification bell, and make sure that you tell somebody that you love them before you go to sleep tonight. I love you guys, and I'll talk to you soon. That's him 100%. I mean, without me hearing his voice, I'm like, you know, it's unconfirmed. But if you got friends that knew him and grew up with him saying it's confirmed, then I gotta say, hey, yeah, this is probably Bryan Kohberger. But, you know, I did send it into the FBI. I did clip that. I also went through 80,000 phone calls, found the number, sent it into the FBI as well. And they have that, and hopefully they get down to that information.
Good. Do you know that they are in receipt of it? Did they come back to you at all?
I know they have it. I've never got an email back yet.